Have you ever thought about video editing? Or are you struggling at starting out? Well, think of it like riding a bike. Let me explain. But first of all, who am I and how do I know how to edit? Well, I am the video editor for the Mark Marshall YouTube channel. Now, you may not have heard of him before, but it'd be worth going and checking him out. Over 300k subs now. And my last video that I did for him got over 600k views. Now, you may be thinking, that's nothing, you know, Chris MD gets over 1 million, all of this. Yeah, I know, but it's still an achievement. In my first month alone working for this channel, I've garnered over 800,000 views, and this is how I got into editing. You know, it's like when you first learn to ride a bike, you may have training wheels on, a parent pushing you, and maybe for you this is CapCut. I mean, for me it was Windows Movie Maker, but CapCut, with all the templates and different styles available to help you, and there's all the different transitions, you know, it's an easy setup. This is kind of where you learn your fundamentals. This is where you learn to edit. You then start to get a bit comfortable with that, like you do with training wheels. Maybe your parent stops holding the bike when you're cycling. You start getting a feel for balance. It just starts to come a bit naturally to you. Then you take the training wheels off. You might move to something a little bit harder, maybe DaVinci Resolve, maybe Premiere Pro. And this is where you have your first fall. Now, falling in editing is really common. It can happen to the best of us. I still do it sometimes. You know, I wouldn't take it as this majorly big thing, but this first fall is when you realize you might not know how to balance properly. You then relearn how to balance, you know, you get more of a feel for it. You maybe relearn the shortcuts for that editing software and just start building yourself back up. You know, you get a bit more confidence back and you think, oh yeah, I can do this. Sorry, I just need to open my editing software because I am at work. Currently I use DaVinci, by the way. I think I've mentioned that in a previous video, but if you're new to this channel, subscribe, one. But I use DaVinci Resolve because I personally prefer it. Better than Premiere Pro, and you don't have 99.9% of crashes. But if we're talking about editing as riding a bike, you might then have another crash. And you might be thinking, well, what's this crash? Well, this crash is when you find out about After Effects or the Fusion page. But when you have this crash, you might be thinking, oh no, how am I going to get over this? You know, what am I going to do? I mean, the Fusion page / After Effects, in my mind, is like when you're trying to first wheelie a bike. You're trying to get that front wheel up, but you don't really know how, and potentially when you first start using the Fusion or After Effects pages, you're getting it up that tiny amount. But that's also when you crash, because you realise, I don't know how to do it. But the next thing you know, you're looking up YouTube tutorials, you're relearning your balance along with the trick. You're getting more of a feel for it. But you never have a maintained front wheel, do you know what I mean? But your balance does improve, and your edits become a lot stronger when you're learning this new trick. Maybe you first learn masking or tracking. I mean, these are the simplest two, and really the only two I use in my current day-to-day job. Obviously there's a few other stuff, but they're the main ones. And at that point, you really feel like you can do anything with the Fusion page. You realise there's a bit more to it. It's a bit more nuanced, you know, there's more tricks out there that you can learn. But then you realise, you know, you should focus on doing your tricks, but also your balance. Because your balance is what's going to keep you going. And in this sense, how your edits look, how your cutting is, how your transitions are, how your flow of the video is, you know. And at this point you're picking the best moments for your new tricks. You know, you're not exactly going to be doing 360 flip trick, you know, on a main road, are you? No, it's not the time and place. You do that on a trail or on in a back garden, do you know what I mean? And you have to learn to use these tricks to not turn viewers away, but like keep them engaged, you know, include them subtly. And now you might be thinking, no, but I want people to see these new things that I can do. And I can understand that. I've been in that scenario, but it's not always the best bet. I mean, using your skills of balancing, bringing the front wheel up, you know, doing this wheelie is similar to how you balance, you know, your cut flow, your edit, your music, your sound effects, you know, any Fusion or After Effects bits all at the same time. You know, you've got to make it flow and make it work. You can't just be doing it willy-nilly. But then you get that wheelie for the first time, you realise all your skills have come together to make a really, really good edit. And that is one of the best feelings you will ever have. I'm going to tell you that now. Like, the best feeling I've had in editing was when I first got my editing job last year. Not this job that I've got now, but it was a different job doing property videos, and I was over the moon. And all of that work went into me getting this job. And now this job, like I've said, I've garnered over 800,000 views for the channel in just the first month of being here. That is my holy shit moment. But one thing you do have to remember is not every edit, you know, requires these skills and these tricks. Not every edit needs to have fusion and motion array. You know, a lot of YouTube stuff does require the tracking and potentially some masking, but that's it. That's more just like added steez to your videos. And like I've said before, sometimes I don't even touch the fusion page for edits. I've done the snowfall video that I've shown before. That's currently on Instagram, by the way, if you want to go and follow Shacklemore Productions. I'll leave a link below. But that video had no fusion page elements in it. There was none whatsoever. That was purely sound effects, music, stock footage, and AI voiceover from Epidemic Sound, which was really annoying because if you listen to it in headphones, it only comes out of one ear. But that might have changed from the export. But I know for a fact that in the edit page, it was just in one ear, and it was so annoying. But by this point, you're riding, you're flowing. This is when you think, oh, I can do this, I can balance, I can do a trick. You know, you've got the confidence to kind of carry on with your editing journey. And you then might go on to learn new tricks. Good TV show. But you might go on to learn new tricks and new stuff that you can then take forward into your other edits, like different transitions, different ideas of how to go between two shots. I mean, there's loads of videos out there. This is probably a good time to say what I'm going to start doing in my playlists. I'm going to make a playlist of good A, Premiere Pro tutorials, and B, DaVinci Resolve tutorials. I'll do them as two separate playlists, so whatever editing software you're looking for. I won't do any CapCut ones because that's not my style. I don't do that. What I might do is get Jack, who sits there, to send me some good tutorial videos for CapCut or InShot, just for the people who are starting out and maybe want to do that. But if you wanted to jump into any of the big editing softwares, there will be a playlist on there, and I'll do that before this video comes out so that they're already on there. But back to what I was saying, it's the same process for learning new tricks. You might crash, the new trick doesn't really work. It's all about finding that balance again. It's all about finding like the right trail for the trick, if that makes sense. You know, the right edit that trick is going to fit into. And like I've said before, it might not fit into all of them. It never hurts to try, it just takes time, that's all. And eventually you'll get to a point where you know in your head, this trick works here, this trick works there, this trick might not work for this one. You don't have to use training wheels. You know, it's normal to crash, but really it's the getting back up that matters. I think Jack's going to turn up while I'm recording this. I wouldn't be surprised. And that, my friend, is why video editing is like riding a bike. Just make the videos you want to make. Don't let the idea of a certain trick hold you back. And remember, YouTube can help you. You'll crash, you'll wobble, you'll try new tricks that maybe you're not ready for. But every fall teaches you something. And every ride builds muscle memory. And eventually you're just cruising, not thinking about your balance, not overthinking the look. You're just creating. And if you're in a phase where you're falling off a lot, that's normal. Don't quit. Please just carry on. Use what you've got, make what you can, and subscribe to the Jack Shackleton channel for new videos where I will be talking about setting up my own production company alongside doing this job that I have now, and we'll go from there. Like, subscribe, leave a comment about what you're currently learning, because I would like to find some new things to learn. But I will see you in the next video. If you want to support the channel, go and have a watch, and I'll see you in a bit. Goodbye.